So, final frost is coming up and our forecast super duper exciting, so that also means that we have summer coming up. Now, it might still be a little bit too early, but can you give us an outlook of some sorts?
Yeah, so I looked at all the pattern signals. We are transitioning out of an El Nino, so we have that pattern signal and a couple of others. And we have our exclusive 2024 summer outlook right here, right now. The main driving mechanism for the summer outlook is a transition to La Nina. We see the cooler waters developing off the coast of South America. We have upwelling, which is that colder water coming to the surface. That's going to spread across the equatorial Pacific, and we will be in a full-fledged La Nina no later than the early part of July, and that will continue through much of August. We also have a high probability of a negative Pacific North America pattern. This is lower on the list of drivers for the summer, but it does favor wet weather, lots of rain across the east, dry in the plains, and dry in the mountain west. Dry for the southwest monsoon, but moist, lots of rain east of the Rockies. When we look at the past 10 summers, it's been wetter than average in the east and also warmer than average, drier than average across Texas, and drier than average across much of the northern Rockies and northern plains, and also a bit warmer than average. So here's our official summer 2024 temperature outlook for the entire country. Much warmer than average for most of the east and plains. Now, once we get to the northwest, slightly cooler than average, and we do have that area in the Rockies and the west that's near average for our temperatures. With rainfall, we are expecting a dry pattern for much of the east, wet as you get into the Midwest, lots of showers and thunderstorms, less than average rain, a little bit drier here across the Corn Belt and the plains, wet in Texas, likely a wet monsoon season across the southwest, less rain than average across the northwest. The latest drought monitor shows that we've chipped away at a lot of the dry areas that we had going into the winter season, but still relatively dry here across the plains, so we are going to see a heightened risk of drought develop across the Corn Belt, but it will likely get trimmed a bit across the Midwest. It's been dry in the southwest, and what we should see is a bit of that moisture coming back with the southwest monsoon, but much of the east is not in a drought at the moment. So here's the upside and downside risks. Terrain, drier than average across much of the plains with a typical La Nina pattern, wetter than average, and also a bit cooler than average across the southeast. That is one of the upside and downside risks going forward through the summer season. Now, when we look at southern West Virginia, we are expecting a wet trend. That is more rain than average, basically from the western Greenbrier Valley to Route 19, and then likely drier than average, a little bit of a rain shadow effect once you get into the Greenbrier Valley. As for temperatures, we see it another warmer than average summer, perhaps even hot, perhaps ranking in the top 10 for most of the region. It will be warm as well, warmer than average across the Greenbrier Valley. So the breakdown, folks, is that first of all, August will be the hottest month this summer. July will be the driest month, and you will likely have a higher air conditioner bill than last year. Now, part 2 of our series will be on the web page a little bit later today, and we break down each month for you when we expect the warmest and coolest temperatures and talk to a West Virginia horticultural specialist about how our precipitation patterns or rainfall patterns this summer could dictate the fruit yields going forward through the fall season. So stay tuned for that on our webpage. Chief Meteorologist Chad Merrill for Newswatch.